How the hell you doing, YouTube? Today we're back with a brand new video. So today's video, I'm going to show you this wee job. This is a video. It was meant to be sort of a close-up of me skimming a wall, but as you'll see, we'll have a few issues basically. And I thought there's no point me just showing you all the good stuff, and so this is a video of when things start to go bad. So I'm not 100% on the reasons why this has happened, but you're going to see here in a minute. So we're re-skimming these walls, and we've PVA'd. At this point, I already know what's happening because the door wall there you can see in the background, it's happening on. But so the PVA is on and it's tacky, so it's sort of good to go. But for some reason it starts to slide. It's a new PVA that I use, that I used on this job, and I've only used it one time before. And I'm guessing maybe that I've got the water ratio sort of mixed up, or I haven't got it right, basically. And you'll see that the plaster just slides all over the wall. But the strange thing about it is the plaster slides all over. It sort of looks like it's cracking, and then I left it to take up because it just kept sliding no matter what I'd done. And when I came back to it, it was rock solid. Now it wasn't the whole wall, but there was like big chunks. The walls were covered with cigarette tar, but the client cleaned 99.9% of it off with sugar soap, so that might be something to do with it, but I'm not 100% sure. The original video was to show you how I put skim on and how to finish a wall sort of up close. So you see we've got this angle to the side. It'll give you a better view of what I'm actually doing. Yeah, so you can sort of see it there on the back wall, the plaster sliding down, but it's only doing it in sort of spaces. It'll become really clear here once I've started to coat directly in front of the camera. So this stroke that I'm doing now, this will be the one where it first starts to happen. So keep your eyes just above the light socket, and you'll see it look like it's starting to slowly crack, but it's actually the plaster sliding down the walls. If any of the experienced plasters out there have any thoughts, please feel free to let me know, because it miffed me, to be honest with you. It slid all over the wall, and then the stuff just went rock solid, till the point where it was really hard to get the lines out of it. You can see there it's becoming pretty clear just above the light switch. It looks like it's cracking, but it's actually the plaster slipping. You can see there at the door wall behind, it's doing the same thing. It looks all like saggy. Yeah, so this was an absolute nightmare. Usually, I would usually let this sort of thing go. I will I will wait and let the plaster take up a bit to see how it reacts in the end, because sometimes plaster can do strange things. You can see here that I've sort of halfway flattened it out, but it had went solid, and I'd stuck just the tightest of a little thin coat, just a tiny bit on the bottom of the trowel, and covered the holes in, and mostly it didn't re-crack, so it was dead on. I'd done this job quite a while ago. I kept the video to make sure that the plaster hadn't failed before I posted the video. But yeah, so we're just going here with our second coat, and you see I'm not really being very tidy with it here is, and the reason for that is because I'm really rushing to get it on, because in my head that, you know, there's something wrong with the plaster, and there's a chance that I'm going to have to redo this, strip it off and redo it. So I'm in a big rush because I just want to get it on. So I'll leave it a little bit more untidy than I usually would. You can see also in this job, the next video will be the ceiling. Maybe not the next video, maybe the video after, but I have a video of me reskimming the ceiling, and with similar problems on the ceiling. Now, granted, it wasn't obviously sliding anywhere, but we did have, like, everybody that's plastered before will know what I'm talking about. It's sort of like, it looks like it's cracking, but it's just the plaster sort of coming away a bit. You know, you would get it a lot over like smoke stained ceilings, if they're not washed down properly. But again, the skim, the PVA was tacky, so realistically it shouldn't have happened. And you know, it's probably either one or two things, that the sugars, washing it down with the sugar so it wasn't enough, or the PVA mix was different, because it honestly seemed a lot, it seemed a lot more like the mostly the PVA that we get's like a whitey colour, and it's relatively thin, but this stuff was like super thick, sort of like, you know, the PVA the kids used to like stick things in school, you know, the stuff that you paint on, but they sort of like paste, like, you know, like would you would paste your, it was like sort of that consistency, and even when you watered it down, it was still like every time that I've come to use it, you know, I've left it in the bucket and come to use it the next day, you're having to give it another mix, where the regular PVA, you don't really have to do that, you mix it with the water once and that's it. So yeah, this is the second coat going on, and as you can see, the cracking's completely stopped, thankfully. At this point I was starting to feel a bit better, because the rest of it hadn't slid either. This was on a really hot day also, so maybe that was something to do with it. But as I was saying, I'd done the ceiling, and I've done it backwards in this job. Usually you would do a ceiling and then the walls, but just the way this job had fell, I didn't have time to do the ceiling that day, so I just lashed a load of walls on, so that I only had to come back and do the ceiling and a wall the next day. You can see I've already have it closed in here, but I'm now doing my flexi trowel. You can see the way the water sort of, like I always say in the other videos, it like makes it look like a sort of a matte finish, and you can see here it goes from like looking shiny, till this sort of matte finish, and this is, I think I said flexi there, but what I meant was my cutting trowel. So this is cutting all the lumps and the bumps and the humps out of the plaster. You'll see it real up close here. We'll give the wall a good brush, and you can see the way the brush is agitating the plaster and sort of making it, like all the creaminess and stuff come to the top. And then we're using lots of pressure, and we're just completely flattening out that wall, cutting all the high ridges and lumps, all the you know, everything that's not flat, it's all getting completely cut out of it. I think that's a decent close-up of it. So this would be, what I would usually do would be, I would put it on and flatten in. I didn't show you the flattening in this video, and that was just because I was rushing, and I forgot to turn the camera back on. I'm doing a wee bit of messing about around the pipes here now, but yeah, and then So the next sort of bit after I cut the plaster the way I do, is that I'll flex it. But you can see the difference. The bottom of this wall hasn't been done and the top has been, and you can see like the clear difference. It's like flat and smooth at the top, and just sort of like bumps and ridges and stuff on the bottom. We're going to come across, once I get around these plugs, I'll come to the other side of the washing machine, and then we'll bring the bottom of this wall across, and you'll get a real good view side on how we cut the plaster with our cutting trowel. I hope you find this video entertaining, maybe not the right word, but educational maybe. And even till the most experienced plasters, things go wrong. The most important thing with plastering is just to keep going, basically. If you have something like that happens, let it sit for a bit and give it another trial, and see how it reacts then. If I had to give it the second trial and it was still sliding, I would have completely scraped everything off the wall. But because it had tightened up, that sort of gave me the go ahead in my own head to go with the second coat, and try to finish the wall. And it did finish. It finished nice, nice and smooth. And then we're coming across the bottom now, and you can see the difference. You know, the water brush sort of like agitating the plaster. You can see that the water brush sort of takes any of the lumps and bumps out. I'm actually going to link some of the tools that I use in the description. Just because I've had a few people ask me about what tools did I use, so I'm going to link everything that I use in each video. At the minute, I just finished the job today, which hopefully should be the next video, of doing a little plinth outside in a house, just underneath a damp course. So that hopefully will be the next one, and I should have a few plasterboard and videos and another few ceilings and stuff. So I'm going to try as much as possible to keep the 2 videos a week coming. I'm currently about 3 videos ahead, and I'm hoping sort of to stay, you know, at that pace, sort of record 2-3 videos every week, and then that means I can constantly put the content out, and because most of the time I do lots of different stuff, hopefully it shouldn't get too stale. I'm definitely going to do a day in the life. I had someone ask about that, but also I'm really interested in doing a POV, so maybe a chest or a head mount for the camera, and film what it looks like, maybe doing a ceiling, or film what it looks like doing walls or rendering. So you can see here I've got my flexi, and you can see the plaster's nice and matte here, and you'll see once I've the next time I get up here, I'll brush using the same process, brushing on the plaster. Yeah, there we go. So I'll get the wall nice and wet, get it wet, and then we'll use the flexi to give it a good hard trowel. And you can see here it changes from the matte colour to like sort of shiny. You can see there just in front of my head that the wall's starting to actually shine. And you can see, believe it or not, you can see like any imperfections. At this point, they become pretty clear. You yeah, you can basically see anything that's not right. Um, a big mistake that a lot of people make when they get to this stage is like any holes or stuff that they see, they'll actually fill in with the watery fat that's on their trowel, which is a massive mistake. If you're going to fill, you shouldn't have any holes at all at this stage, but sometimes you miss things, and it's understandable. But if you are going to fill any holes at all, especially at this late stage, it should be from your stuff at the edge of your bucket. There's a lot of plasters I know that won't leave, stuff that travelled off the wall on the edge of the bucket. What I would suggest would be to mix a little tiny bit extra than what you need and set it aside on a bag, because the last thing you want is fat filling holes, because it's really obvious and it makes your work look amateur. But that's it for this week's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you are enjoying the 2 videos a week. Hopefully I'll be able to keep it up. Go and check out the social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and not Twitter, we're on Instagram, and we're on WhatsApp. So go and check them out. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.